woke up this morning, the sky was gray. Another.
All right, hello everyone and welcome. My name is Manon. I'm a teacher for Sudowrite for over 2 years now. I'm a published author. I excel in nonfiction. I have so many nonfiction that I start in the last 20 some years that they are in books, pads, notebooks, or sticky note, all over the place, computer, old computer. So how we get these things inside Sudowrite and start working. I would have said that a year ago, it's going to be very hard to bring something in Sudowrite. Not anymore. Right now is probably one of the easiest things, and as thing goes, it's going to be even easier to bring your work in progress. So to me, once you know what you want and you know to work a little bit with Sudowrite, or you listen to the right class, then you should be able to work your paper. And as I work with mine, I bring stories and I bring the nonfiction in. I can see how much more I could have done when I bring my work in that I didn't have access before. So without waiting too long, I'm going to start sharing. First, I would have to open my, yeah, it's open. There we go. Let's share my screen with you. And that's the one here. All right, so this is my Sudowrite screen. I guess you already know this is for advanced people, that you already know how to navigate inside of it. So I'm not going to lose a lot of time on showing you everything else. But I want to mention, it's not my first time that I bring a class on how to bring your work in progress. People who has these on paper, use a scanner or use your phone. Take pictures of it. And then with the new iPhone and a lot of those new iPhone, cell phone out there, smartphone, you take a picture of your text, you highlight it with the mouse once it's inside the computer, and you bring it into a Word document or a page or whichever program you're using to put your manuscript in. So this is one of the easiest way to bring your paper version into the computer. Use a scanner, things like that, but you have to bring it in the computer in one way or another. Once that's done, things get so much easier. So once you get this done, go inside one of the places which I like to go because you always have access to it, Google Drive. Now, can you guys see what I'm saying? Yeah, okay. You go in your Google Drive. Just add new in your Google Drive, go into a doc, and then you have a Word document. Bring your work in here. It's one of the easiest one, and for me, that's what I'm using. So that's how I'm going to teach you today, how to go ahead and do what I do. So inside this, I'm going to show you what I have. So I have my link, obviously. So I have this is the one I'm going to use today, my Reiki research. And my Reiki research, I think, is over 15,000 words. So when I do research on a nonfiction, it's complete. It has a lot of information. And I don't care how, I just bring everything to Sudowrite, and I will show you what that looked like also. Then there's a book, there's a long story, and there is a short story. So I'm going to show you how to go about all of those. And then at the end of the class, you're going to bring me your question and we're going to see if I can help you even more. Sounds good? And I don't have access to the chat, so make sure someone let me know if something is extremely important or I missed something. All right, deep dive. Bring your work in progress. So
Hey,
this is...
Manon, before you start, Brad had a question. He said, I thought Sudowrite could only do fiction. It can do nonfiction too.
Oh, it can do nonfiction, music, song, poem. There's no limit. There's absolutely no limit. It's just you who have the limit of knowing how to work with the Sudowrite or the AI. Does that answer your question?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
You're welcome. All right, this is the link. So if you want to find me, if you want to see the old classes, go right here. Thank you, Zedekias. Nice image. Let me know if the link I put in, because I didn't see the link going through there. Let me know if it works. Okay, Lena? All right. Let's start with the long story.
Manon, yes, it works. I'm glad to be here as always.
Thank you, Lena. Always nice to have you on board. So this
Same.
is a long story. The long story has 13,787 words. It's only, I believe it's 3 or 4 chapters that brought in here. So it's really a work in progress. This is the last chapter I wrote. It's not perfect because it needs works. So it's perfect to bring that in Sudowrite and see what Sudowrite can do for us, right? So how we do that? Now I did do that on my other computer, so I may have to go around and figure it out. So you go into your first screen where you have all your little envelope. Is everyone has those envelope, Miss Lynn? I don't know if everyone has those or it's just a few of us who has that.
No, I think they rolled it out to everybody.
Okay, perfect. So I don't talk something that nobody will understand. We're going to bring that 4 chapter in. We're going to click on the import. And the import is telling you to drag in your work. So I'm going to go get my work, which I did put in my laptop, but I didn't put it in this one. So book, long story. So click on my long story here. Once you are in here, you're going to go into the file. You download 2 Microsoft Word docs. That go into your download folder on your computer. From your download folder, you go get it. I'm pretty sure you don't see what I'm doing, but I'm going into my download folder and I'm going to go get this folder that I just brought in. Long stories. I'm going to take it and I'm going to drag it in. Now it's going to do the import. It's going to do what it has to do. It's creating the story and doing all the putting the character in the right spot. It's going to do a synopsis. It's going to tell you what's the genre of the story. The only thing that will not be filled up is the style. So that shouldn't be too long. It's only 4 chapters. Leave it do its job so you can see step 3 out of 6. Take a few seconds. Good thing when you have the video, you can go faster waiting for these things. I need to do before you guys arrive, but it says if I do that, then they don't see everything. And if something, because each time you're going to bring it in, there's always a little bit of difference when you do the import. So it's not always the same. So see if I have one that I did import before. Deep dive, final added prophecy, Serena in French. 5 out of 6, we're almost there. Get aside to this class, my thought. Nonfiction. Heartbreak, the heartbreak was done that way. 5 out of 6. Do you have any question during that time that I can answer quickly? To me, just drop a new LLM. Yeah, the LLM is so fast. We have to keep up with them. It's not even funny. So you can tell how much it takes time for a few things to get in. One thing that I find out is when you try to bring more than one at a time, they kind of crisscross. I don't know if that's only me or
That's
not.
my biofreeze.
Okay. There you go. So when I did bring like in the series, which we have a new things here for the series, I brought 4 books and I got them to bring all in the same time, and he made some kind of crisscross between all of them. So I was opening book 1 and I had stuff from book 4. So I'm not going to do that again until everything is well set up. There we go, we're there. So here's our long story. So they ask you at the top here if you want to give them feedback. So we don't need to do it because I did it many, many times. Your story is going to be here. So long story is going to be all in one chapter. And sometimes I really wish I could ask us, can we just bring our chapter in one big document like this and get Sudowrite to do the rest? I don't think it's going to do it as well as this way, but has anyone tried that? To bring everything in one silo like this.
Yeah, I've done it.
So how that goes, Bill?
Well, now it was just a short story, but it went great.
All right. So you were able to get your genre and everything else, or you just had to write everything by hand?
No, it got everything pretty much right. Now remember, it was only a short story, but so far I'm using the single silo method.
Okay, perfect. So here what it is. So we have our long story, which we have 13, almost 14,000 words. The brain dump is empty, but he says this is a story which is a fantasy, magical realms, political intrigue, and a family drama. It's exactly what it is. This is the story of Elara, and she is a young scholar who is working at the castle, and she's learning to become a scholar and do all kind of research for the master, which is there. So this is the story. Basically, they give you the synopsis from my 4th chapter. Closing door, Elara confront the council. So it's not the real story all the way to the end. So basically, it's based on the 4th chapter, because the real story doesn't finish like that. The story, it's a lot more complex than that. But it's a start. It's telling you what he saws in those 4 chapters. So you read this, and if you have your work in progress that you bring in, then you can look at it and make sure that the Sudowrite did catch exactly what you brought in as your manuscript. And you can tell if the AI understood what you brought in, right? So when you get your synopsis, your character box will be also filled up. There, really go and check. For me, I normally take off the last name unless it's a true story and I already know the last name and things like that, because these are a bit confusing inside the Sudowrite when it comes in. Double check everything that the character is a she or a he or binary, non-binary or something else. So that's one thing which is very important. Then read it, really check everything in your character box and make sure that you know which one is the protagonist and which one is the antagonist. Do your research, do your diligence, and go and read everything to make sure it match your manuscript. All right. And so far, it's not so bad. When it's a small story like this, and that's supposed to be the long story, and it's not too bad, but I know this one is new. Is not part of the story, so I will have to figure out why he brought this one in. Maybe it's just because it's the 4 paragraph, the 4th chapter, and he decided that he's going to bring more character inside the story. But in a real story, there is no Serafina Larkin. So things like that. If you see that things like that happen, because it's still a work in progress. It's not perfect yet to import your work inside of it. So if this guy or Serafina is not in it, go in here. Just say you're not using that one. Just click on never. You see that little I. That means it's not going to be used inside your book. You can change your mind later. Or you may say, oh, I'd really like to have a new character, and it's right there. You just transform it the way you want. You put it exactly where you want, and that's it. So Liana, I believe that's her sister, which is part of the thread, so it's part of the story. 3 Recess of Time, that will be one of the supporting characters, so I know that one. That do happen sometime. I don't know if that's the last one is bringing, or it's just, yeah, that's the last one that it just brought in. So it's not so bad for 4 chapter, and I know that from here, this I can delete.
Manon, I was just going to say, why don't you put yourself as a character? Because sometimes you do that. You just write Manon in
Yeah,
the
I
character
know.
box.
I'm not going to add me as a character, but one character that I know is her mom. So
Okay.
Lara as a mom, Lara mom is part of that story. So I want to put her there because I want to make sure she's alive. Because he has a tendency to kill her. So I want to make sure she's alive in the story. So I'm going to add her, I'm going to add the father, and this way I can start building the manuscript that I know the story of. So far, did I lose anyone? It's pretty clear. All right. So she, enigmatic, Valen family. Yeah, I think that's the name of the family. Anyway, the Enigma mystery. Normally they put down that Serafina is the mom, but so she is catalyst of Elara's journey. All right, so she's very important to her journey. She's definitely a supporting. She's a female. In the public, she exudes the speech, human. Yeah, that's basically that. Having more time, I will go in and fix everything about the mom that I know what she is, what kind of clothes she's wearing. I will go and fix it. Then I will go and add the father because he's not there, and I know he's supposed to be there because she's talking about him in the second chapter. And she also talk about the people in the castle. So that will be a few of the characters that I will bring in because I know they are there. One more thing that I find out is the AI seems to like to move from, he knows it's a castle, he knows it's not today, but sometimes the castle bring terms of today, which is supposed to be in a castle time era. So today, I did go and ask for a timeline. So the world building here, this is very important too, because as you can see, as I brought in that long story, he said to me, okay, this is the castle, this is the setting, that's the ancient stronghold that I know is the castle is there. Then we have the Magister Council. Yes, it's part of the organization which is there. The locket is one of the main items in the story. So the ancestor charm, perfect. He got that perfectly fine. Currently in possession of Lara, blah, 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 the young scholar. Yeah, he hits it perfectly on the nose so far. So the castle, the council, the locket. The scrying orb, that's another piece of magic which comes inside the story. It's there and it's perfectly in place, perfect. The family history of Elana, so the lore that she's going to discover what's going on with that locket. It's part of that, it's part of the lore. So that's there. I will have to go and read and make sure everything is right and fine. The Arcane Wave, Thread of Fate. That one is a new one. So this one I will have to go and double check what that do in the story. Make sure it's not just the wrong name or they changed something. So for me, I'm getting myself a little eye closed because I'm not sure if it's supposed to be there. Then I'm going to go in and add that element that I want. I want to generate the timeline because I find out it's very important to let him know that we need that timeline. I don't want stuff from going back and forth unless it's a game of future, past, future, and things like that. But I want to make sure he keeps that in the castle era. So here, timeline, the awakening of Elara, the scholar revelation, the timeline unfold over a period marked by convergence and celestial event when the stars align in a rare formation. The epoch characterized by signaling the astrological phenomenon and influence both magical and mundane realms, creating a backdrop for pivotal discovery and transformation. The era is known as the Age of Unveiling. So seems like he knows that it's not going to be in 2024. Then we have cell phone. He seems pretty on task. So this is something that if we had a place where we can say this is very important, I will go and click this is very important. Make sure you stay on that task. But this far, when I put this timeline inside of it, it works. The other thing that I learned from John is link my chapter. So in your world building, when you bring your work in progress and you want things to, because the eye have a tendency to cut between our chapter and not make a very nice link. So I learned to make this one here. So I go and I generate that. I'm going to show you what that looked like first. So the link, how we show that? I have to go in something else, but all right. So it's going to give me the name, it's going to give me another name, it's going to give me a synopsis of the whole story, and it's going to give me a resume of every chapter that you can get or find on it. It's going to go in forever, but I find out that when you do it properly, it's going to show you a different story. So let's see, I'm going to delete it, and I'm going to show you what that looked like. And this is something you bring in, you just go and do customize. Customize, add link chapter or glue chapter or whatever you want to put down, and just add these. Synopsis, resume of chapter 1, resume of chapter 2, and so on. And that's all it needs. Save it, and you go for that. So you just go generate, and I'm going to go ask for my chapter link, and I just go like that.
So Manon, what you're saying is that John says that this gives a summary of all the chapters, and that's how the story can do its own chapter glue, right?
That's not exactly what John said, but this is what I use it for. So
Okay.
basically I took what I saw from John and I says, this is your chapter glue. Why would you use the plugin and take your chapter and says, give me a resume of the chapter? You have it right here.
Okay, so it's all in one place.
All in one place. You just don't have to use a plugin or anything else or bring all over the place. So if you bring like your 24 chapter or 42 chapter, it's going to find them and going to bring the resume of each chapter in here. So
Oh, that's super handy.
yeah, you got one hit and you got many stone. You see what I'm saying? And so once you need it after that, you can ask in Sudowrite inside your beat box, refer to chapter, resume chapter 1 at the start to link up your chapter. So
Okay, yeah.
you know what I'm saying?
Uh-huh.
So
That's a great idea.
exactly.
What's the name of the plugin?
It's not a plugin. It's something you do yourself inside the world building. I call it my link, my chapter. So go into your world building and add, customize, and add one for yourself. All right. I will show it again in the next import. So this is how you do it. Next is going to give you all your chapter that he's having, or he's going to make more chapter that you brought in. So I remember I brought 4 chapter. And when he sees the 4 chapters, he says that's not long enough because he thinks it's a whole story. So he says, okay, first she's in the archive. She's having that archive at temptation to get that box open in the archive. So that's in chapter 1. The echo of the past is when she get that locket. The scribbing orb is she's getting inside the dream through the locket. And then something going on with the console. So something happened. Not sure. So this is new to me. So I would have to go and check what it is because we only brought 4 chapters. But as you go, and if it's not something that you wrote or it's something is missing to your book, and it says, I need more punch, I need more something, go and check what they bring you because some of it is very interesting how to work with it. And it's so much more than it used to be. So if I take this one by example, I don't want to take too long because we're already at 24 minutes in and I need to show you so much more. This one would be like the chapter 1, all right? I will click on it and I say create. As soon as you do the create, it's going to go on top and you see that update here? That update is very, very important. So I'm going to go back in the outline because as soon as you create this here, you can go back in your outline. And now you have access to that update. That update, anything you change in here, if you says, okay, I want to add something, I want to fix the style, I forgot to put the style in. Okay, let's go, I'm going to put the style. It says, oh my God, I have to redo all my chapter. No. So let's just, for the fun here, we're going to use one of their style. I'm going to use the action pack style, which you can choose the style you want. You can bring your own. You can do whatever you want. You can play with this a lot. One thing that I like, so limit POV. So yeah, no cliche instead, blah, blah, da, da. You don't see at what I like to put at the present and normally in the behalf of Elara. But this is there, all right? So look at the update now. This is Elara Young scholar worked diligently in the archive surrounded by ancient text and artifact. Her routine is disrupted when she discovers a mysterious brass box with intricate engraving. The box emits a magical aura, emphasis on the timekeeper, so you can see what's here. And we just changed the style. Go and do the update. Because you have update your style. Now it says, okay, she wants something else. So you don't see a lot, but just look around the square here and you can see that the line is changing color, like it's thinking. So just give it time to do what he has to do. And he's going to update chapter 1 to match the style. And then the rest of them are also fixing up a bit. So Elara, the young scholar, immersed in dusty archive in Waterhold. You see how he changed a few things? There's more details. Now you go back. Actually, it should be, today I find out that he's doing it. So Elara, young scholar, spending days in immerse. We go there. So Elara, young scholar, spend her day immersed in a dusty archive, which also, he did update it. All right, so he update chapter 1 from the basic without the style in. When I put the style, it says, oh, okay, let's update my chapter 1. He did the update. Then you go on, you do your scene direction, or you generate your beats. And from there, you can keep on going if you want to work that way. Now, for someone who has his chapter or her chapter, you don't have to do this. You already have your chapter. You can just say, okay, I already have that information. I don't want to work with this, but it's nice to have, but you don't want to work with it. Just close it down. Take your chapter. So go get your chapter. I'm going to go to my long story. Take my chapter 1. I'm going to copy my whole chapter 1. Copy. I'm going to go in Sudowrite, and I'm going to pull it through. So I have my chapter 1 right here. And I have everything here. I have all my tools, so I can fix everything I want. I can use the write, the rewrite, the describe. I can brainstorm. I can use the plugin. So from this is the other way. Now you have your genre, you have your style, and then you can go to, like I said, you can go to town and fix what you already have. You can ask plugin if it's good enough. There's a plugin called Good Enough that a lot of people like to use. You can make your own plugin to make sure that you can work with this. There's always new plugin going on once we work with things. One thing, when you work on something that is your project and you already have, and you want to work with the laser tools, go inside here, go in your write setting, and here choose what you want to work with. I always put my 500 words. I'm going to go and get the one that I'm going to work with. So at some point, you'll know which model you want to work with. To stay consistent, I believe that you've got to get, if you work with the muse, make sure you have the muse here. Make sure you got your key details. You can put down in this chapter whatever is happening, and this is the genre or the style of that writing in that chapter. Put your key details in here. Put your creativity where you want. And then once you use all your laser tools, it's going to be consistent with what you're looking for. So make sure you keep these things handy and up to date. All right, so this is for a long manuscript. Do I have any question? I didn't lose anybody?
Hey, Manon, I have a question.
Go ahead.
When you do the put the details in right, the laser tool,
Mm-hmm.
does that affect like rewrite using my voice? Does that also work for that?
Do they have my voice here? They don't have my voice on this one, do they? So your voice, it will not, that unless they put it down on this, it will not do a difference. But try to get the closest one to your voice. But if you have your voice, I haven't used my voice in so long. You have what show up in your style when you do my voice?
I'm sorry, what?
What does show up inside your style box when you use my voice?
I don't know. I don't put anything in there.
Okay. One thing that I like to do, if that will, I hope that will help you, Bill, for one something. Get one of your chapter, go match my style.
Yeah, I'll play around with it and I'll let you know.
So that's what I do, or that's what I used to do in the past. I take one of the chapter that I totally in love, and that's the chapter I'm working on, bring it inside, match my style, and that's match my style. That's this box, or sometimes it's what's in a genre that I was going to put inside my detail here. Make sure it stays on task with the way I'm writing. So match my style or my voice, it's a bit of a different beast that we're working with. So someone else can do that class a little bit later. Sounds good? All right, so next, let's go back here. Do I miss any question? Manon can fully demo at the end. Pretty simple, easily. All right, you get me that question at the end, all right? Create a really good My Voice Muse short story. Yes. And these days we have a very good result with the cheap one. I was very, very surprised yesterday. I made like very good small kid story. All right, let's get with the short story. Now the short story, it's a problem, I think, with bring the work in progress because it's too short. It's only 2,000 words. And I believe that if you import, they told us that you can only import something which is 5,000 words or more. I have to go back in here. Let's check this out. Just testing to make sure that I'm not in potatoes. So long story, Ricky, book 1. Amber, fire story. Which one is the? It should be this one. So this is no, chapter 2. That's a big book. That's the series. And the other one. So Amber, first story. There you go. So this is a short story. That's a book that it's already been published. It's on Amazon. It's the first book, and this is the story of Amber. And I'm pretty sure a lot of people know the story, or at least the picture of Amber.
Oh, we love Ember here. Super cute.
Book 1. That's not the download. Where's my download? Download. Amber, first story. So Amber doesn't have enough words, I don't think, but they might get me that says it's going to work or not, creating the project. So here's the short story, and it seems that it's going to work for it. So it's 2 out of 6. Three out of 6. That's getting there. So it's working. So they stopped that maximum of 5,000, so we can bring less big story. Perfect. So this is the small story of Amber, my little dragon, in book 1 of Twinkle's Big Dreams. 3 out of 6. Mini 4 is doing very good and is very cheap. John is totally right on that. Yeah, John is very good on the short story. So how does one create this custom? Okay. we're at 5 out of 6. We're almost there. So it's going a lot faster when we have a lot less words. Time flies like amber. 5 out of 6. Any question besides showing how to work in the world building that I miss? Or I don't.
Manon, I was thinking of this and I was trying to figure out how to word it because it's a question I've had myself for a while, and especially for our new students here. When we were in character cards and world building, and there's always those categories like the protagonist, antagonist, supporting character, and things like that, love interest. And then also for world building, where you say the lore and the setting and things like that as well. So does the AI, when it's doing the chapter generation, does it actually look at those specific categories and it knows how much time to allot to each character and the character tropes if they're protagonists or antagonists? Does that make sense?
Yes. It has to look at it. This is why it's there. So this is the main point that's why we bring the world building and all those categories. So just make sure that you have the words that make sense to the AI. So if you're not sure, go use the little, hold on, I'm going to. If you're not sure, go use the quick edit and ask the AI what word it will use. So the question that you have that you want the AI to look at in the story, ask right here, what word would you go get in the character box to make sure that you follow the story? It's going to give you the proper AI wording that he's looking for. And that's why I put down this inside my my world building. So here it is. So we have Amber, our first story. You can tell that you bring everything, even the image link is there. So I'm going to take these off. I probably should have done it before.
Yeah, that makes sense. And it's good that it does look at it and that with your idea for the quick edit as well to ask. So I appreciate it, Manon.
You're welcome. When you're in doubt, I would say like CC and Marigold, ask the AI or ask ChatGPT. And because I'm trying to stay inside Sudowrite and we already have ChatGPT in Sudowrite, just ask right there. You don't have to go anywhere else.
Yeah, that's so convenient. Love it.
Yeah. So ask the question right there. So all right, we have our little story. Again, Brindam is empty. My genre, fantasy, fairy tale, nature, magic, whimsical, adventure. The style for me is children, so I would go custom because none of it is children. And if you do children books, children words. Well, children words. And everything else you want, just make sure you put that for children. It does understand children words. Some people go even deeper, just 2-syllable short words, things like that.
Oh, like only 2-syllable words, things like that for kids. Okay, that's smart.
Yeah, so just do things like that. Give example of dialogue, and from there, even there, just go and put your dialogue in here somewhere if you have one, and just say, can you tell me about the dialogue here? And it's going to tell you this is children, short sentence, things like that. And keep asking questions to ChatGPT or the chat in here about the dialogue until you get what you're looking for to put in the style box. Even ask the AI, what style is that writing? This is a book story. Can you tell me the style? Blah, blah, blah. And bring it inside your style box. All right. So the synopsis, we have our little synopsis in the art of mystical forests, where dream whisper through the leaf, a brave little dragon named Amber makes her home. So despite the small stature, she's no bigger than a pumpkin in the story. Amber takes her duty to protect the magical of that place. However, the tranquility is getting snared by the serpent. So he's having everything on the nose from that little story on Amber and how she fixed it. So this is the story of Amber. Going to note thanks this here. So the character, we have Amber, that's a she, little flame, so she's my little dragon. She is the she's the protagonist of my story. And from this, you know that Amber I have a series of 52 books, which is 365 stories. So Amber is having so far I have 6 stories on Amber, which goes from one book to the next. So this story of Amber is going to go into the series. And that series is a new toys that Sudowrite is having. I don't think I'm supposed to speak about that little secret, which is not so secret. Am I right, Miss Lynn? Is she still here? Someone can answer that. Are we allowed to speak?
I think because everyone here is part of the community, basically, it's the cat's out of the bag, sort of. You know, Nicole's talked about it. I mean, everyone's talked about it at this point. So it's up to you, I guess, really. Whatever you feel safest
Yeah,
about.
Zeddy's right. And Lynn herself actually said it's fine with our community as well. So we should be good.
All right, I'm going to talk about it because it's part of my curriculum that I wanted to show you guys. So everyone has series, right? Yeah, pretty much. All right, so here we have our little Amber. She's there. The elderly tree is here. The ancient guard is one of the supporting character. Lyra is showing breeze. Lyra serves essentially Amber. So sometimes he's going to bring things which doesn't seem to be there. That should be one of the whispering. One Orion the Wistic. He gives some funny name to the sage of the forest. Not bad name, but the story is
Oh, he's an owl. That's why.
yeah, that's the owl, the very cool owl. Here the serpent. This one is the antagonist. Then we have,
Nice.
so these are basically the main character of Amber, the first story. This we're not sure as yet why we have those error. They just pop up every once in a while, and I haven't put my finger on how to get them to not show up or what was the problem. So that's something to ask the
Maybe it's going bananas.
yeah, bananas, you're right. All right, so world building. So the person was asking about, what was the question about world building earlier, Thomas?
How did you make your link chapter
Okay,
custom and go slow?
all right, I will go slow. So here, I'm just going to go through this and I'm going to show you again how I did the link my chapter. So here the setting is it's in mystical forest, the enchanted wood, and Amber is the guardian. Amber, the little guardian, Flameheart is the character. That's perfect, good. The magical creature in the forest because she has a lot of little friends, so we put them all in one, and that's part of the culture of the story. The elderly tree is another Amber, and that's the thing which is fun. They put the character also inside the world building. Even more, the sunberry is the little plant which make her fire go even stronger, and this is the serpent, which is the threat of the story. Now, all right, how you get link my chapter? Go customize. In setting, just click in it and just click something like glue my chapters. Just like that. Then click on that and it's right here. In the description, you can put down, I want the synopsis, add resume of chapter 1. So from here, copy this, add it a few times, just remove 1 and just put 2, add it, chapter 3, add it, chapter 4. I do it a couple of times like this all the way to 4 or 5, and somehow it catch the drift after and do it by itself. All right, so we have our resume of the chapter like this. We add to current glue my chapter. Well, it's not there because it's brand new. So save new as default. Like this, it's going to save it. Now glue my chapter is right here. All right. From there, you just go generate the element. Go in the drop down here. Go down and glue my chapter we just made together. Click on that. You can write everything you want here. If you want more details or something else about your chapter that you want to be included, just write it there. If not, just go like this, click go, and it's going to create your chapter glue. You're right, Jade. Sometimes it's just, that's why I say it's important to go to all the class, because you learn little things like that. And if you kind of know how to work with the AI, you can say, oh my God, why we haven't seen that earlier? And that's how you get things like Amber of Courage quest, the Guardian Challenge, Amber and the Serpent. So the synopsis at the end of the forest, the sanctuary, the magical creature, harmony, the Lyra, the Orion is the owl, Amber summon her courage to defeat that serpent by bravery, beloved home. So in chapter 1, she's patrolling the forest. In chapter 2, something is getting to shatter the serenity in the forest. There's the sea serpent making chaos. Then she's doing the confrontation of the serpent. So you can tell that everything is linked. And from there, you can use it in your beatbox or place where you says, I need to get these chapter linked properly. This is something you'll see as you work with this. Once you get into your outline, you'll see in the outline if things link up properly. And that's where you can use your world building. Just go get this part, resume chapter 1, bring it in, because your resume is right there. You don't have to invent it, it's there. And if something changed, you can go and just do the rewrite, and just put down based on the new chapter 2 or something like that. It's going to rewrite it. So just talk to it. The AI is not stupid. It's very intelligent. You just need to know how to tell what you want and keep it simple. Don't go banana. Just keep it simple. So here
That's why we call it AI and not AU, for artificial intelligence and not unintelligence.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So here we have our chapter, and like earlier, so things seems to be all right. So create my little chapter 1. And we did already that. We did ask for the children worlds here. My style is a lot bigger than that. One tricks that I want to give you guys. Once you do something like a style which is huge and says, oh my God, there's so many words, we can go and ask ChatGPT. Oh, let's see if I can do it here. Quick chat. Write a children writing style. Not sure if it's going to get it when I chat GPT. In the real chat GPT is giving me a style. But I want to show you something which saves time also on top of it. I like to give you little tricks when I teach, so. Got it. What would you like written in children's style? Thinking about specific part of the character or something else? All of it. All of it. Give me a detail style. And first, the story concern is going to give me a story instead of a style.
May I ask just a simple question? So now that I've created this link, the chapter, um, it, it just in the order of operations, because it filled itself out, does that mean I have to redo the outline if things didn't link? correctly, or
No, no, no. You can, with the new update in the outline, it's so much more fun. It's the AI really talk to what it's supposed to do. So just,
so the outline will automatically update, you're saying, or
yes, I will show you exactly what I'm talking about. So just for the fun of it, this will be a style box. What I do in chat is rewrite with a dash between each word. Hope is going to work on this one because he works in ChatGPT, so it should work here too. And you understand why I'm showing you that. So the point of the whole thing, so if it works. There you go. See, if you ask ChatGPT to write with a dash between each words, and now I have more than 40 words, right? So if I take all of it and I copy that, go in my style box, which normally it's only 40 words, and you can tell 40 words. I just pass everything in it and I only have 14 words. So imagine if you have a style which is very detailed with a lot of more information. That's how you bring it in. Ask ChatGPT to write with a dash between each words, then go fix it the way you want after that, but you can bring it in. So my style box is big for my children books because I want humor, I want short words, I want easy words, I want fun dialogue, but I also want the antagonist is a bad boy, so he's not going to make joke. But one of my characters is that he loves making joke and is a trickster. So everything is in my style box and it's really well separate for each character, or the antagonist and the protagonist and the trickster and all that. So this is how you can get this really filled up. So it's just a trick I wanted to show you quickly on the way.
That's so smart, Manon, and it made me laugh when you were like, and it's only 14 words, but it's really so much more. That's really smart to ask the chat to do all the dashes.
Yeah, if not, then you have to do it by yourself and it takes forever.
I can
I'm sorry, I'm a
imagine.
bit lazy. I want the story to be written. I don't want to put dash between everything to get my style box bigger. So that's how I do it. All right, so the question about the outline now. All right, so we have our short story. We have this guy. We have the first chapter on top. So here's the first chapter. Let's say it's good the way we want it. We do scene direction or whatever. We got our beats from here. And this is where things get updated. So this is very important. I'm going to let it do his thing right here because I want to show you what it's going to do on how you can update your chapter. And I'm going to use the scene direction, begin to show Amber sketching the wings, da, 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 da. Yeah, that's good. Perfect. So here I'm going to go.
Can you
Yes.
demonstrate the check beats while you're there?
The check beats, sure. Hold on. This one is the scene direction.
I know, but it was still asked.
Okay. So the scene direction is only one, so it's only one direction. All right. And even at the scene direction, if you want to add things on top, you can add things on top to get something else written. So I just did. You got Jade? All right. So here we go and we can use the cheap one. We can use the basic, or we can use the 4.0 mini. I think it's one of the cheapest one. I know there's another one which is cheaper than that. I know the basic do a very good job too, and it's 4.0 mini with a lot more scrunching things. So let's use this one. All right. So with the scene direction, I just go and it's going to go and work on it. What I'm saying here is I find out by working with this new way of working with the outline and the update outline is once you do your chapter like this, as a writer, you go and read, and if something is wrong, you go and fix it. The AI is reading back somehow. Don't know how it works, but it works. No, you don't have to link, Brad. You just do the ChatGPT inside here, or you can just go and do your ChatGPT on the outside like you normally do. And yes, that was quick chat. So because we have ChatGPT inside the quick chat, so is that little flowers or Command K, which will bring back this. It's not finished, is it? Oh, wow. That's normally not what I get when I ask something like that. It's only 346 words.
Yeah, I've never seen only one stride like that ever.
Me either. It's first time I see that. Let's see here.
Yeah.
The beat might have been too fat for, because I thought you used basic, and basic is still running strides. So like any beat over 150 words is going to give like a fairly short response
Yeah,
unless they update it.
let's see if it's doing the same thing with 4.0. No, right now we're going like 500, 700, 799. Okay, it goes pretty short, but it's a short story too, so you got to remember this is only part of the story. And I would have to go and get.
You
Yes,
could also just separating your scene direction into like 3 or 4 beats and see
yeah,
if it gives like 200 words.
we could do that too. But remember, this is a short story, so this is only part of the story, and the story is a short story, so it's only have like 3,000 words total. So for the first part of the story is at 799, so it's not too bad because it's not a full chapter, because remember, it's a short story. So from here, this is a restart here, so I'm going to delete this part here. Yeah, it says, well, delete your words, but I'm going to delete it anyway because I wanted to reread back. If I could
Manon, also Bear says in the chat, could it be shortened because he also clicked check beats, which may have left a reference. And then he says you'd have to create a new doc and try it again without check beats to see if it produced longer prose. And I'm curious because I didn't know that if you check the beats, that it could be shortened like that. But then Tomas just said probably not. Check beats doesn't influence anything.
No,
So
it
yeah, would
doesn't.
love to hear it from you because I don't actually know.
It doesn't, but remember, we are working with a small short story that we brought in.
Okay, so that's the primary reason why it's so short because we kept saying children's book, short story, things like that.
Exactly, and this is a short story. It's not a story which like is having like 1,000 to 2,000 words per chapter. My book total, my story total has 2,000 words. So
Got it.
it stays on task. So we're so used to see so many words popping out, it stays on task right here. So from me,
Yeah.
this is there. Now here, with the word which has been written here, I want to know what it's going to do with the second one, or if I was going to go here and update this from what you wrote. So that's where you can start and go and do your update and see if you can change chapter 1 and make it a bit bigger. So from what you wrote already, I can go and ask to update chapter 1 or the first part of my story, because my story is a short story. See, this is only what we have in that story. So at the heart of mystical forest, carriages, so everything stay the same pretty much. Now I'm going to this one here and create the second part of the story, which is going to go in the forest. There we go. So the tranquility, she's doing a round, and then things start to, she's talking with her friend and all that. So if we go to the outline, from what we have, for one thing, we have the world building, we have our quest here, that we have that she's in the heart of the forest, and then she's patrolling. So we have this that you can work with. We go in our outline. Tranquility of mystical, she's doing her things, she's talking with her friend, and we go and do the update. Now he's having to read what happened in chapter 1. He's having also the world building to look at to make even more sense.
So basically, when you update it, is it basically also kind of like the chapter glue, in addition to the other chapter glue you did when the world building?
Yeah, basically he's going to keep everything in one place unless I go and update my chapter glue. So it's just a way
Okay.
to work, you cannot stick to everything. You really have to want to look at your workflow. So when you're alone and you're working on your book and says, okay, you're going to remember things that you have to do or things doesn't work, says, oh wait, I forgot something. Maybe it's in your chapter glue, or maybe it's just updating from the chapter or the section 1. So here she's still in the tranquility of the place, but there's a menacing serpent. So the menacing serpent wasn't there on the first one.
Yeah.
So thing in this, when we write the first one, it was already talking about the serpent showing up. So it did his update already.
Nice.
So this is how you go and you look at it. So this is beside what I was supposed to teach. It's already been an hour. So this is just a short story. You can also bring, like I said earlier, you can bring everything in, like we already have it here. He brought the whole story, and you can go in here and start already to use your laser tools, your plugin. So this is two ways to work with it. You can restart, redo it, or you can do the next story, which belong to that story right after that. There's so many ways to work with, bring your work in progress.
Oh, Manon, also Bear just wrote, Manon, where you had the short prose generated, try adding a new line at the end of your scene directions that only contains ... and see if it generates more when regenerating the prose. That might be a good idea. And that way, if you wanted something a little longer, would that work?
Yeah, that will work. So if we were doing like, here's the serpent. So let's see if you create, did it update? We did that already. So number 2. So Ember, Shadow of the Forest. So that's our chapter 2. So if we were to do in chapter 2, we could, let's see if it's doing that just for the fun of it. How many people we have left? Do we lose a lot of people? Because I cannot have access to that.
No, we still have a lot of us left. Still
right.
22 of us. And
Yeah.
we had 24 at the peak. So we're doing really good.
Because I like to bring in during he's doing that, I'm going to see if I can, no, I cannot go out and do both because I wanted to.
Actually, Manon, could we see how much the first generation of that one stride cost? Thanks.
So the update.
Generate
pros 157, the basic 1,221. Things unknown is 0. The quick chat is 0. What is the unknown? What did we do which is unknown?
It might be what you're doing now, or it might be the chapter update.
The chapter update is very expensive because it goes and read everything around. That's why I'm saying that when he's doing the chapter update, he's reading a lot of information. That's why he's doing the update.
So
that's why it's so expensive.
Yes.
It might be what you're doing now, and it just didn't have a chance to charge you yet.
That one you think is generating the scene direction is probably 0. I think that's what it is.
I was wondering about the brain dump when you import a story or novel in, that's left blank.
That's left blank.
So if you add stuff to that, will that do you need to add stuff to it, or?
You don't have to. I use it sometimes to put some of my prompt because it's going to affect the synopsis and the beats.
Okay, thank you.
So you can use it to benefit your beats because the synopsis is already written, but unless you do a regeneration of the synopsis and you want something to change. So if you have multiple books, you will have to use this and get a new synopsis for every books in your series. And that will be the end of that class when I show this series coming in, because it is a long process. So I'm going to see if I can show you what I have already done. So here I'm going just for the fun of it to see that beats with the dot, dot, dot. Is that what you're looking for, Mr. Bear? The dot, dot, dot like that?
Bear says thumbs up. And
All
also
right.
Bear wrote if it was expensive when we were adding the dashes, but that was with a chat, right? So that would have been free.
0.
Yeah, so that's 0, Bear. I think the expensive stuff, that was all the updates that we were just talking about, right? Update chapter. That's the
Exactly.
expensive stuff. Got it.
All right. So by adding the dot, 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 that might force the AI to go even farther than the story which is already written, or is this going to stay on task?
I think it stayed on task but gave more because it did 2 strides or did 1 stride with 1 and 2.
Yeah. The sun dance in the leaf, da da da, quick move.
Oh, Bear was asking if that was one of the unknowns, but yeah, it is quick chat, Bear. So yes.
Yeah, it's quick chat. So even with the inside the scene direction, even if I add the dot dot dot, it stays on task on the original story.
Okay, so it seems like the dot 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 could work anyway, even with longer prose, right? So it's
It
only
will
staying
work
on
better
task
with beats.
with beats. Okay. And could you say for our new students here, Manon, who might not know the difference between the beats and the scene directions and what exactly the difference is between one and the other?
All right, this is the chapter 2, the shadow in the forest. I'm going to add a new chapter 2 to show you the difference between scene direction, because scene direction is great to work with a story which was already written. So that's why I'm showing this one. But here's the same thing, but we're using the beats. It's going to should give me between 12 and 15 beats. Well, on the short story, I'm not sure what it's going to do though.
Yeah, I wonder if it would make it shorter for short stories just based on the virtue that it's short. But we'll see.
So begin soaring the emerald forest, the fern amber descend, the ground trembles.
Oh, wow, it is actually giving a lot of beats.
Yeah, a lot of beats. Final glance to our friend, taking a deep breath, determined to everyone to move, to pass ahead. So this is basically the whole story inside beats. So we have how many words in the beats? Oh, we don't have words count. So yeah, we have 14 beats. So these you can transform, you can write them up, that's where we sometimes do this with, like Bear was talking about, to get something longer. We can put it there, we can put it at the end. This is how we work the beats, and here the difference with the beats, basic, use basic, and
Oh, and
generate.
Tomas says that it's 508 words total. That's great.
So
With the beat count, with the word count and the beats just now.
he count them? Where do you see that?
Yeah, I don't even know how he did that. But Tomas, if you want to say how you did it.
Yeah, it just says in the bottom right-hand corner. It tells you how many.
Yeah, right there. You got it. Thank you, Thomas. I knew it was somewhere, but where? So we have 300, 1 of 2. So this one will make a longer story because beat 1 is at 301. It's going to do 3 and 4. So this one will be a much longer, more details to that story.
So if someone wants a longer story, they should use beats just based on what we're getting here instead of scene directions.
Yeah, that will be longer.
Yeah.
Just make sure that the AI doesn't go banana and make too much new stuff to your story. So read everything. Because I know the story, it's like I told you, it's the story which is already just 2,600 words or something like that. So it's already at 9:30 for just the second part of the book. And it's like the start of the book, the little accident which happened, how they resolve the accident, how they fix it, and then the end. So that make already.
And Tomas says it's a little over 36 words per beat as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I would have to go and read this and see what that looked like, but it's already, for a short story, it's already very long. So if I get all the little chapter from the outline, done this way, then my story, which is supposed to stay short, is becoming a very long story. So just be careful on how you work this out. Do kick bashing, use part of what you're looking for to work your story.
Yeah,
All
I
right.
was thinking like keep bashing as well. You read my mind again, Manon.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
this is a short story. All right. So the last one I wanted to show quickly, and after that show you what the series look like, is the nonfiction. The nonfiction is very interesting. It's longer though. So I'm going to see if I can open two windows and get this to work. So import.
Perfect, because we have so many students here who are doing nonfiction as well.
All right, if you want to stick with me, I can show you everything. I can stay until 8 o'clock. I have no problem. At 8 o'clock, we go to the other one. But for me tonight, I will go see my dad at 8.
Awesome.
So, all right, my Ricky. This is the one I want to bring in. So I'm going to go and I will show you. I mean, that's at least 15,000 words. So this is one of the biggest ones. So you can tell that I have lots of information. I have my outline. Actually, I have 2 different outline and all that. And I don't bother with cleaning it up because it's already in a very special way. I have my research. I have my Amazon research. I have the what people like, what people don't like. I like the perfect outline, which had everything that people wants to know about Ricky, how they want it and all that. So it's all there. So what I do is bring my information in. So I'm going to drag in my Ricky inside and it's going to do the work. In the meantime, I will see if I can go into my author account and see if I did that already. I'm going to check something. You don't see what I'm doing. I'm going into my other account, see if it's going to work. If I did that or not. Use your passkey. I don't want to use my passkey. I just want to go in. Continue. Oh my goodness. Scan on device. Okay. Hold on. I have to do a scanning somehow. All right. Man, there's so many ways of going around these days. Oh, perfect. I got it in here too. All right, I'm going to share a different screen so you can see the series during this is going. Is it the right one? Share. So do you see book 7? What do you see on my screen share? Do you see the right one? Twinkle.
Yeah, I see book 7. Yeah.
All right. So this is a series. See my series right here? So when you do the series, you go new, this project folder series. When you click on series, it's going to give you a folder. And in that folder is specially made for series. Just make sure that the one who has a series goes slow with it. It's very, very, take your time, look at it, and I will show you why. So this is all my Twinkle books that I have. This is the one I brought in. And you can see here I'm playing with book 7 and 8 because those are the one I'm editing. But book 1, this is what that looked like. So this is book 1. So I have chapter 1. And it's going to give you chapter 2 and all that stuff. And you can tell that we have 23,765 words. There's 7 different stories for children in book 1. And it's separating them like that, chapter 3, and so on and so on. The braindom is empty. It's going to give me the fantasy. This is exactly the fantasy, the adventure, the fairy tale, children, literature, and all that. If I was to go and work on it, I would have to go and get my style in this here. But this is just the importation of book 1, which is the 23,000 words. It's giving me a synopsis. Now, the synopsis, because it's different story, I have 7 different stories. None of them are the same. Is going to choose one. You choose one. Actually, choose more than one on this one, so he made me a liar. So you got, this is the first story with me, truly. The first story is about me when I was a kid dreaming and doing story in my bedroom. This is exactly what I was doing. So if you get the book number 1 and you see me, the story, this is how I was when I was a kid. I was doing my own adventure in my bedroom. Meanwhile, in the
That's
heart
really nice, Manon. I think a lot of us can relate to that with our adventures and in our minds and everything.
yeah, when people says, how come you're writing books? Just go back when you were a kid. What were you doing before you go to bed? When mom and dad says, you go to bed, leave me alone, don't get up. You were doing your own adventure in your bed. Your bed was becoming your little boats, and your tutu was your hero, and one of them was going inside the ocean and it says, oh, you go and rescue him and all that stuff. So this is how I became a writer, is I was doing that when I was a kid. I was inventing my own stories. And I brought them here. So the first one is that. This one is Alex and Emma. This is the second story. That's Amber. So this one works properly. Some other one just bring one story, but this one work. He brought the unicorn and he brought Oliver and the Whispering Wood. This one bring me a synopsis of all the story. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. The 7, 1 through the shanty, the friend's imagination, the magic of the world. So this one got cut off because there's not enough space. It's only 800 words. So you would have brought the 7 story. This one works perfectly fine. That's great. He brought me the 7 story. In some other one, he brought me only 1 story. So not sure why, but that's how it happened for me. But this one, he works beautifully. So we have Alex. So again, once you bring your stuff in, you got to go and fix everything. One thing that I asked the team, the group, or here beside the name in the series, I would like to see which book it belongs to, because I'm going to show you why. This is all the character of not just book 1, all 8 books. Do you see what I'm saying? It's a lot of character, and then they're not in order. So in the series, if someone sees that inside the demanding something special to the team, ask for that beside the name in the series box to know which book they belong to. All right, Jade. So this is one thing. So in the series, you're going to see every single character in your book, and even some that you don't even know about. So you can see, and things like that. You may have things in double because Manon is in book 1, but she's also in book 3. So it brought me twice. But then it's a good thing because that would be book 1, but in book 2, Manon is older. So in book 2, when I go inside, I should be able to say, in this book, she's 7 years old or 15 years old or something like that, and she's working on this and that. So that's a work in progress for this series, but this is what this looked like. All right. And then, like I said, when you get your book, you bring them all in, and all the character, they update from one book to the next. So if you have 24 books, at some point you're going to open your book, like book 6 is going to have all the character from all the books. All right. So this is
Wow, what a great character list, Manon. And I like a lot of these names. I think I saw like Thumper Swifferfoot or something like that.
yeah.
Like Ella Sweet Bloom. These are so cute.
Book 7 would be very, very nice. I put a lot of humor in this one, so I have my
Oh, good. Yeah, I can tell.
Yeah. So this
Also,
one
Manon, so Bear had brought up that the new students here might not know what kit bashing was. So I said that I'd put a definition in the chat, which I did. And I said that in my understanding, kit bashing is basically picking and cherry picking what you want from different sources, like your own drafts or what the AI's generated, like from Pseudo or ChatGPT or other sources. And then you can put them together. And Jade also said, yes, that's it. And sometimes she puts them piece by piece as well. Like you can take different things and you can make your own desired product from the different elements. So I just wanted, if you or anyone else like Bill or anyone wanted to jump in with your own definitions of kit bashing as well, just so that everyone is on the same page about what that actually means, I thought I'd bring that up.
Yeah, you did a pretty good definition. Just don't want to go out of task here because I want to show the nonfiction.
Okay, sure, no problem. And thanks for saying I did a good definition. I'm getting all like Stacy vibes, like, yay me.
All right.
Woohoo.
All right. Here's the nonfiction, guys. The nonfiction is the Ricky book. Now, what that look like? That's good. No, thank you. So we have all our words. So I have 18,825 words right here for the nonfiction. It got me everything. Everything I brought in my research is here. The genre. This is very, very nice. I really like it. Nonfiction, he knows it's a nonfiction. It's an instructional, holistic health, self-help, spiritual growth. Now, if you do nonfiction, one thing which is very, very, very important. Well, I don't know about you in your nonfiction, but in mine is no dialogue. None. So I don't want dialogue. It's a nonfiction book. I'm teaching something. So this is one very important thing for me is I'm going to put that everywhere, even in my style box when my style box is getting produced for that. So it's no nonfiction, no dialogue. That's one. Two of the very, very important thing I'm going to put in my style box is that. Custom, style box. So non-dialogue, I will remove that. Because it's just nonfiction and no dialogue, and then I will put everything else I need in my style box right there. So the synopsis is doing me the synopsis, the Ricky beginning, and I really, really, really love the importing that he's doing because it's giving me even more idea from my outline. Is giving me even more outline, which is totally fun for me, and I will show you exactly what I'm saying. So this is the synopsis, which looks perfect. Character. The character here, these are people which like a teacher, but I don't want them to talk in my book. So the character, I just go in and I take them out. I just put down, don't want to see them ever. I don't delete them. I just leave them there because it's always nice to have them. The world building, though, I keep it because these are places which are in the book. Mon Kuramara is there, the Gekke, which the Riki Kyoko Gekke, the organization is going to get all the organization, all the setting, the culture about the Riki, so the Buddhist, the Zen, you know what I'm saying? So it's going to work out on your world building. From there, you can even go more. So I have my my nonfiction is right here, so I can go and generate my nonfiction setting. Remember what I put down in my nonfiction. I don't use it a whole lot anymore with the new import. Now the outline, this is the cool part about the outline too, is giving me a brand new intro and is doing a very good job at it. So it's giving me my nonfiction. So work practice, the reader, visualize serene, tranquil. So I have all my little nonfiction notes that I need in my world building is brought in. I go and read it and all that. Again, these are the new intro, the custom research, which is not part of my outline, but I really like what the Sudowrite is doing with my nonfiction. And the kick bashing comes in my nonfiction because I use this part. I go and get them done, all of them. It's giving me a whole lot. Did they change something in the... Wow, it's giving me a whole lot more than the first book, which is, by the way, the Ricky book is on pre-sale right now. It's going to be out officially on my birthday. It's on Amazon right now on pre-sale. It's giving me a whole lot more than the first time I did that. So I would have to go and read. But the book itself, I didn't use all of these. I only used the three first one, which was the new intro, which is right here, the new intro. That wasn't there before, about the reader. So these can be good things to have and use what we call the kick bashing. So I could go and get these produced, and again, as a nonfiction. So, and see and kick bashing them and make a brand new intro for the book. If not, I would go in and get my generate a new chapter. I think we have to add a chapter. Add chapter. Chapter 31. What? Seriously? You made 30 chapter? That's interesting, guys. It's you know, it's fun when you do a class and you get something new like this. And you just create a brand new one. If this I want to keep it and I just want to keep going, I just move my chapter. So that's one thing which is cool. I will go in my Reiki. I will go in my chapter, which I already have. I already have my outline done. So where's my chapter 1? That you go inside this and I have to find my chapter 1. Normally I go inside my other one and I get my chapter 1. All right, the introduction. So I take this. This is part of my outline all the way to chapter 1. So intro. That would be my first section of my book. This is my real outline. I will bring this in. I will go at the bottom. And I will put that right in here. This is my first chapter, my real introduction from my work, not the one that Sudowrite did. I will go in and I will go create chapter 31, which will become my first chapter, my intro. And this genre is nonfiction. Nonfiction, it's a bit short, probably maybe not work as well, but we'll see. And this one thing I find very well, see, it's fairly long for this. I just normally use the scene direction. And then you have to play here. Some day the scene direction is better, and some other day is the beats. And that's where, again, the kick bashing comes in. You get both done, and then you put them side by side inside a Word document and says, okay, I like this part of this. I want to put on top of that. Take off this second paragraph, move it out. And then, you know, you have three documents if you want, side by side if you want, and then you can work this way. So scene direction, begin vivid anecdote with Mr. Amayo. This is the lady who found after she got healed by Kyoko and tried to save it. Let's see what that looked like here. One thing that I find out for my nonfiction, it was Muse. And Miss Lynn who says, oh, that was the surprise part, at 100. This way, he doesn't go imagining anything. He goes get the information he got inside this, and is giving me normally a pretty good. Imagine is giving me stupid dialogue, or the session include Claire slowly. This is transformative Reiki practice, channel universal energy, promote balance, healing. Mrs. Takata smile knowing Claire, book labor of love. So you can tell that my style is not exactly the way I want, but there's not much dialogue, so it's kind of stay on task. So if I was to use the same thing, add new, and I'm going to go to the last one, chapter 31. And this is how we do the kick bashing. I'll go back to this one here. I'm going to go get my, now I'm going to go and do the beats this time. I'm going to generate the beats. Begin the captivating anecdote. You like the anecdote, that's okay. You can jump on the next one. Introduce yourself as the author. So normally in my information here, I put down when I got my certificate as a Reiki teacher and all that. I put that information in, so we talk about it that way. So let's see what that looked like here. We're going to use the experimental 3 max and see how it goes with that. Just giving me a small anecdote. My own journey in Reiki began particularly through this period of my life as a young professional struggling, demanding, stressed job. The growing family, first session, transformative. I work a practitioner, considering the common challenge. This book will explore the rich history of Reiki, starting with Dr. Yushu, groundbreaking discovery on Mount Kurama, and tracing its journey through Japan from the Western world. And here's giving you structure of the book. Now it's more on task with the beats. So therefore, this is what we're talking about, the kick bashing. I will go get the one which you give me with the scene direction. I will go get the part I like in it, and I will go inside. And for me, I work with vellum. I bring my final product in vellum, which basically I take this and I go back and forth between them, and I'm going to bring them in vellum, and that's I'm going to build my chapter that way. So this is how a nonfiction book gets done, by bringing all your research in and let this getting built up by Sudowrite. So I think I covered everything. We've been an hour and a half all together. Question. I know we lost about 10 people. Sorry about the one we lost. I can stop the recording now or answer some of the question. If you are too shy, I can stop the recording and we can keep on this way. Anything that I miss or that you have question? All right, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to say thank you very much. I'm going to stop the recording, and for the one who's shy, we're going to answer them outside the recording. So again, my name is Manon, and I hope you enjoyed this Bring Your Own Work into
Whispers of Calm,
Sudowrite.
a child's meditation guide. Reveal the quiet magic of mindfulness, gifting your child a sanctuary of inner peace. Meditation Series Book 2 by Manon Doucet. Editor, Jennifer Germano, Lori Doucet. Illustrator, Claire Holbein, Manon Doucet, Foss Plus, Gianna Solaris, copyright 2023, Marie Anderson, publisher Lidded, all rights reserved. No part of this book may be reproduced or transmitted in any form or by any means, electronic or mechanical, including photocopying, recording, or by any information storage and retrieval system without permission in writing from the publisher. This book is designed to provide accurate and authoritative information in regard to the subject matter covered. It is sold with the understanding that the publisher and author are not engaged in rendering psychological, legal, or other professional services. If expert assistance is required, the services of a competent professional should be sought. A guide for parents and caregivers. Discover the marvels of meditation as children, parents, and caregivers unlock the power to thrive in a busy world. Spark curiosity and uncover the tools needed for a balanced and fulfilling life. By Manon Doucet, a voice for a new generation. Manon Doucet delivers a breathtaking tour de force. If you only read the books that everyone else is reading, you can only think what everyone else is thinking. Haruki Murakami. Mindful meditation is a must-read for parents and caregivers who want to support their children's mental and emotional well-being. With research-based insights, practical tips, and engaging stories and games, this book provides a roadmap for parents